Ubisoft, they're doubling down on all this DE&I nonsense that's been infecting the gaming community. Now, why is this a big deal? Their upcoming game, Star Wars Outlaws, the community manager for that game has been revealed as a psycho. Somebody that is just absolute nuts, that hates male gamers, hates white people. You saw all these old tweets surface. We made a video talking about it, and they've since long gone protected tweets, and they're blocking people. They're hiding their tracks. It's not a good look for somebody that's representing a company as a community manager to single out a single group of people based on their race and ethnicity. That's racism. These people want diversity, but then they don't want people that are different than them. They want an echo chamber of people with no individual opinions that harm them. They want a safe space. Anyways, let's move on from that. What's the deal with today's video? There's an alleged internal document going around Ubisoft that is doubling down on this. They're declaring that representation is part of their DNA and that they firmly stand for diversity and inclusion, which again, on paper, that's fine. It's okay for people to be represented. It's okay for diversity. But when you're trying to control a narrative, when you're trying to get the gaming journalist on your side to help push these agendas, these ideologies, when you're having employees that are freaking psycho, like your community manager, that's where it becomes a problem. That's when stuff gets sneaked in. That's when certain political narratives start to get shoehorned into your games. And there's a lot of nonsense that's been being exposed because of stuff like this. It's infecting the gaming community. We saw the whole Sweet Baby Inc. detected situation go on where they had a Steam curation list of games that were consulted by Sweet Baby Inc., which is a firm that puts a lot of this weird woke type of stuff in video games. And we saw how that company tried to shut down that Steam curator list, and it backfired immensely. We've seen journalists go mask off. We've seen video game developers go mask off. And we've seen the community manager at Star Wars Outlaws go mask off. So this alleged document was shared to social media by TheQuartering, who used to follow me on Twitter, but for some reason he unfollowed me. I get it. I'm not big league enough. Follow me back, Jeremy. I'm just joking. Guys, somewhere here, there's a Spurg in my comment section. You're begging for Quartering to follow you? I'm just joking. Anyways, this document is pretty cringe. Who knows what it's in response to, but it's going around internally, so maybe there's something going on, or this is just them prepping for damage control. Who knows? But it says, first, we want to make it very clear that we do not accept hate, harassment, and other forms of abuse in any way, and we are deeply saddened to see the negativity and hatred currently spreading on our coworkers' personal profiles and on our and our partners' social media platforms. So I'm assuming this is in response to a lot of the hate that the community manager and some of the employees at Ubisoft are getting that have worked on Star Wars Outlaws. But let's call a spade a spade. They had vitriol first on their tweets. They had a lot of stuff that was hating male gamers. They had a lot of stuff that could be construed as being racist towards straight white men. You can't expect not to get a backlash when stuff gets, I guess, revealed, and then when heat gets too hot, they get out of the kitchen and they just go into hiding and they play the victim card. It seems like a lot of these people in the gaming industry are doing this. They get revealed as scumbags. They get revealed as saying stuff on Twitter that's very hateful. I'm sorry, I can't talk all over myself. My thoughts are going a mile a minute because we've been seeing a lot of this happen on a near daily basis. People claim to be against hate speech, but then they're the ones spewing the most venom on Twitter. And yeah, it's just, to me, I guess this is just because a lot of the coworkers and employees that work at Ubisoft feel unsafe on their social media now. They need their safe spaces. Anyways, regardless, this document says, we are proud to represent the diversity and inclusion that exists in society as part of our everyday work. Representation is part of our DNA and will remain that way regardless of external pressure or influences. So external pressure, yeah, that leads me to believe it's because of all this backlash. If you remember, the trailer for Star Wars Outlaws got thumbs down into oblivion. If you look everywhere, people are upset, not just because of this DE and I stuff. That didn't help by any means, but the pricing structure, the way that the additional content's going to be paywalled behind a season pass for a single player game. That's just to name a couple things. On top of that, the character, the protagonist of the game being butt ugly on purpose. There's a lot of stuff that's not working for this game. It's pretty much dead on arrival, in my opinion. Now, this document continues. And this is where things start to get a little snowflakey, in my opinion. It says if you're exposed to or witness any negative behaviors towards your colleagues online, do not hesitate to reach out to your manager, Arcade HR, or the communications team. We're here to help. Should a situation escalate to a point where you feel unsafe, oh God, gag me with a spoon, please contact the Ubisoft security and risk management team. SRM has a team of dedicated staff to manage security concerns. They will assess the severity of the situation and provide personalized guidance. As always, report immediate and severe personal safety concerns to your local emergency number. Again, this seems like it's damage controlling. It's being a safe space for these weird wackos that work for your company, the rainbow color-haired people that they spit all this venom, they spit all this vitriol, and when they get backlash, they don't know what to do except play victim. All right, and I get it. You should feel safe at your workplace. If you are getting legit death threats, by all means, protect yourself. But if somebody's clapping back at your tweets and you get offended and butthurt and you go into protected tweet mode and there was no sense of danger or any kind of issues like that, you're just being a snowflake pussy at this point. and when you think of this game and Star Wars Outlaws and everything that's been going wrong with it, yeah, maybe some of the people that are working for Ubisoft are getting unfairly attacked. But again, that goes back to the community manager's behavior. It's not helping anybody if the way that they're acting, it's going to guilt by association, unfortunately. That's how the court of public opinion works. Sorry. Now, this document says, given the current polarization of this topic online, we believe that having a respectful and constructive dialogue is difficult, if not impossible, to achieve. In this context, we ask you not to engage in or interact with these conversations, as this could worsen the situation for yourself, our teams, and our industry peers. You can also set your accounts to private and or turn off private messages from people who are not in your list of trusted friends. Do this across all your social accounts, even if you're only receiving unwelcome messages on certain platforms. So they're basically just telling people, block everybody, mute everything, don't engage. Maybe this will blow over if we just ignore it. I could see where they're going with that. You know, don't feed the trolls, basically is what they're telling them. But not everybody giving criticism or feedback or responding to these tweets are trolls. Not everybody that's being negative towards this game is trolls. And that's the issue with these DE and I wackos, is that they're labeling everybody that's against it as bigots. That's how these people think. You give an opinion that they don't like, and all of a sudden you're transphobic, you're a bigot, you're anti-Semitic, or whatever labels and buzzwords they want to put onto it. You'll see these people, they're quick to do the block hammer. They want this echo chamber. They don't want anybody to have an opposing opinion or a different outlook. And there's nothing hateful about saying, hey, this community manager was a piece of crap. Now, this document, TheQuartering, says Ubisoft firmly stands for diversity and inclusion in our workplace and our games, and we believe there's no room for hate in gaming. So again, I don't know, guys. It's unclear what this is in response to. I'm thinking it's because of the backlash they begin on social media. They've had a slew of controversies dating back to, when they claimed that gamers should be comfortable not owning their video games, and then after that, there was this whole thing with Star Wars Outlaws and the community manager. And then most recently, the whole issue with the crew being delisted from people's gaming libraries. It seems that Ubisoft might be in a state of panic and damage control, and they don't want any employees responding to anybody criticizing anything, because it could be turned into a huge scenario on social media. And they just need to nip a lot of these problems in the butt. But specifically singling out diversity and inclusion leads me to believe it's more because of the response for Star Wars Outlaws, which I've lost my faith in that game. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. it is a very polarizing video game at this point, and it's just nuts to see this panic behind the scenes.